One of the bars, brilliant, bro. They're trying to turn off that phone. All right, so I'm currently holding some EUR USD shorts right now, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what it is that I'm looking at, and you guys can tell me if you guys think. Right, so looking at USD, this is what I see. You know, we're looking at daily, a very strong level, right? When we're looking at supply zones, we want to ask ourselves, you know, what made the market move down and what made the market move up? So if we take a look at this obviously is what made the market move down, right? This entire range is kind of the higher time frame range that we're in. So this push up here is just a complex pullback back up to this nice level that we're in, right? So now taking note of that, we have to ask ourselves, right, well, in this higher time frame range or supply that we're in, where is our demand zone? And that would be down here, right? This is what got grabbed that led for price to go higher. So we had a higher low point to a higher high, higher low point to a higher high. Now what happens after we make that higher high? We're obviously going to make a higher low point, right? So we have to ask ourselves, you know, where potentially could we hit that we're going to make that higher low point? So let's drop down to the H4. And if we go to the H4, you can tweak this a little bit, right? You can see our price here kind of had a range up higher. We made some liquidity, induced price, dropped down, and then from there went up higher. So this is a valid level of demand that if we hit that, majority of the time, you know, probably like 80% of the time, we will have a nice solid rejections. We can capitalize on these longs here, right? Now moving forward with H4, well, what can we see here? You know, if we're looking at this from both angles, you can either trade this from SMC or from a little bit of a supply and demand angle, right? It doesn't really matter. But if we look at this from a SMC angle, we clearly had a sweep right here. So this level was a nice and easy sweep to spot. We can see how here price clearly just went above it. Once we sweep that liquidity above, then let me just save this. Once we sweep the liquidity above, then we went back up to test that nice demand zone right there. And now we have made a new level of resistance, right? Or a new level of supply up here. And if we take a look down here, then down here, well, what led to this high point? And that would be down here, which is this nice level of demand, right? So here again, we have smaller time frame demand that we can keep our eyes on. So now I'm looking at H1 here. I'm looking at H1. Well, what can we see here? Well, we can tweak this a little bit to make sure that we understand where demand is placed. And then we can look and ask ourselves, right, well, what's happening here? Once again, we're having a little bit of sweeps, right? We have price going up higher. We had a sweep here, and then we have a sweep here. But in this entire sweep range, we are, again, we are still at a level of supply because this is daily supply. So we can mark that off as well, understanding that here we do have a level of supply. So what I did was when I dropped down to M30, and I saw, right, well, what led to this high point from this low point to that high point? That would be down here. So realistically speaking, this should be the level that you're focused on for now to realistically get hit, right? So you're kind of stuck in between these two boxes, right? You have your level of supply up here, right, which would be as easy as just spotting this wicks up there, level of supply, and then you have the level of demand. Now, if we go back to M15, and we look at price action here, right, then this is when you can start applying a little bit more of structure, right, a little bit of where substructure comes in hand. Here in M15, we have higher low point that led to the high point, and you can see how here we clearly broke it. Now, the problem with understanding levels is that this has not become a flip until it actually rejects it. So price dropped down here. This was a previous level of demand. once we broke it, we have to wait for price to confirm that this now becomes a flip. So once I got that M15 rejection, which was right here, then I confirmed to me that this is going to be a flip. So what I did was now I dropped down to M5. Now dropping down to the M5, and we can see that clear rejection, we have to ask ourselves, right, well, where is the structure here? Where is the structure now placed in the M5 within this new form of supply, right? Because this is now new form supply. Well, here we have drop down, here we go up higher, here we drop down. Obviously here we have a higher low point that led to a higher high, and then here we had that low point that broke structure. So once we broke that structure point here, that is where now we can start looking for the shorts, right? And coincidentally right there, what do we have right here? We also have an FVG. So on top of that, we have this FVG that we could get ourselves from. So all you have to do now is put your stops here, shorts, TP stops a little bit above, and you can target the lows here perfectly fine. So this is the setup that I'm currently in. A little bit up higher, sorry, I have a little bit of 2 to 1 right there. And I'm targeting the lows down here for this let me fix this, a smaller time frame. Oops, I messed that up. I had to make this black. So this goes black here, and then this goes just this FVG. This is going to be EURUSD, so that's kind of what I'm looking at, right? Again, you can see how every time frame starts being important, right? You have the bigger time frame levels, smaller time frame M15, higher high point, then price starts breaking, rejecting out of this new fallen supply, drops down, rejections, got a clean break, clean rejection, but still no breaks of structure, price goes up higher, mitigates that, drops down, again drops down, makes now a new lower high point that leads to a lower low, and from there we have developed an FVG. And once you get the rejection, even just this wick, you could definitely be looking to capitalize from that, because then you have that confirmed now flip zone with the FVG for price to drop down lower, right? So let's say that we're looking for a little bit of a safer entry. You could still be eyeing for price to potentially come back here to what actually broke structure, because what broke out of this structure point, that would be this, right? So if you wanted to be a little bit more cautious, you can wait for price to come back up to this range, and then from there wait for price to mitigate this and then drop down lower, right? So you'll have a little bit of a bigger stop loss. If you were to put stops around here, you could have stops, let's say higher up there, risking roughly 7 pips, and then target the lows there. So that could be something that you guys could have your eyes set towards if price does present itself, if it does not want to obviously drop down just yet for a session, and maybe we have a little bit of a sweep and then we drop down, right? So we'll keep that set up there. That could still happen with EURUSD. Alright, now moving forward, let's take a look at another pair that we're eyeing, which is gold, right? So gold, very good trade today that I took, and this was as easy as a 1, 2, 3, right? And if you look at price here, this is kind of what I saw. First, you always want to start off with daily, right? So starting off with the daily, you can see how here we have our very nice and easy OB to spots. This OB here got hit, so you have that plus daily OB that did get mitigated, and then we went up higher, right? And from this range low, we have a low to a high point. But what led for price dropping here? What led to this drop? And that was this here, right? So this is confirmed supply. Now let's look at H4 here. If we look at H4 here, we can tell that here we have a very nice and easy OB to spot, right? We don't have enough wicks here for me to confirm to you that this is going to be a supply above. So when there's not enough wicks that show me, then I'll just use the OB, right? The OB is what makes sense to me for this to now be a confirmed supply zone that I keep my eyes on, right? Now, ask yourselves, what led to this low point here? And what led to this low point is here we have our immediate range of support, right? And then here we have our immediate range of demand. So potentially this could be a strong level that if price does tend to drop back down towards, that could be a level we have our eyes on for trying to capitalize on that demand, right? But if you look at it, we tapped into that. We haven't really tapped into this yet, so this could be a level we could potentially capitalize from. But the real support demand will be down here, right? Which still hasn't really been tapped. So this will be another area where you do definitely want to keep your eyes on. If we do break this, you'll still keep your eyes on here. But for now, this is kind of what we're focused on, right? Now, let's drop down to H1. If we look at H1 and we kind of drop down here a little bit more and we analyze what's happening here, right? Well, here again, we don't have enough wicks for us to capitalize and ask ourselves, right, where is that bigger time frame supply, right? But now looking at price here, what did price do? We had a low point that's his high point at H1, and then price was unable to break out of this demand zone here. So this is our H1 demand where we can be capitalizing from, and I'm waiting for price to mitigate, right, to do something. Now, do you guys see anything else here that makes sense, right? Well, to me, I can tweak down this supply and just move it down to this, right? Move it down to what actually rejected in price. Clearly drop down here, which would be right there. So this is what clearly we rejected from. We had a expansion, and then we completely dropped down and respected that as well, but continue going higher because overall we're still in a bullish move, right? So to me, this supply zone, I wouldn't really be eyeing it. I would much expect this to be liquidity, and I would expect this to get grabbed, right? So this supply zone, I wouldn't be focused on, but I am going to keep my eyes on this level, but it will be something that I'm actually keeping my eyes forward for price to get grabbed. So even if we drop down here, I would expect this to hold because we should most likely keep holding into lower time frame structure to continue going higher. Now, looking at M30 here, this is where it gets interesting because price here, again, had a low point that led to its high point, and we have clearly formed a smaller level of supply here, right? This is supply that price is rejecting, and so far, for now, it has been unable to break. But right down here, we have a nice and easy demand where we could keep our eyes forward for then price to potentially respect it and then have enough power to then go higher and grab that liquidity above, right? Now, if price does break out of this demand zone, we'll wait for that flip, right, confirmation, and then we'll be looking for price to drop down to this H1, and from there, we'll be looking for price to continue going higher, right? It's all again just about probabilities and being patient. I want to see what price wants to do here heading forward, right? So that's kind of what we have for gold. We obviously have levels up here that could still get grabbed and haven't yet been grabbed, but for now we are in a bullish standpoint and we're just capitalizing on the levels that we are currently in, which would be form of this smaller time frame supply. Once we break this, we could also capitalize on some longs to go up higher, or once we respect this, again, we can also capitalize on price to continue going higher, right? Most likely this will hold rather than break, right? Now looking at the last one, which was GJ, another pair that I'm kind of keeping my eyes on and I'm keen to trade it as well for now, is here, right? So GJ, again, we have a very nice and easy to spot supply zone up there that we have been rejecting. So we have this nice and easy supply zone to reject. Then price down here, you can see our price from here. We obviously had a low point, high point, and we are unable still to break out of this supply right there, right? Looking at each one, we have a low point and high point. So most likely we can drop down towards this demand zone down here. And that's kind of what led to that high point, right? So now we have to ask ourselves, what does price want to hit first? And what are we mitigating? What could potentially grab for price to drop down? I believe that if we do drop down to this demand zone, we won't hold this, right? I do believe that we'll actually break this because there's just too much liquidity placed there. That's kind of what I'm keeping my eyes forward. And this right here is what I would consider my supply zone to continue holding with this M30. Most likely we'll have a little bit of a bigger sweep. We might have a sweep of liquidity up here, but as long as the supply zones are holding, I'm still keeping my eyes on for some shorts within GJ, at least to drop down to this, because overall we're still respecting out of these ranges that we have over here, right? So now looking at M5, if you look at M5 again, structure and overall structure, we still are yet to kind of break anything, right? Price is still kind of just going higher. It has given us some hints that it wants to drop, but overall so far, higher low point to higher high, we have yet still gotten a clean break here that can guide us into showing us what price actually wants to do. So this entire range will actually be more of a consolidating range that will keep our eyes forward and wait for price to actually give us a solid break out of any of them. And once we get a solid break out of this consolidating range, then from there, we can be looking at short term, right? So if we break this box here and it shows us a clean break, we'll wait for that FEG retest and then bring price back down to this. Or one of the two, if we break the liquidity above, we're just waiting for some liquidity to get broken here so we can potentially capitalize on the shorts from there heading forward, right? And that's kind of it, right? That's kind of it for now as far as the analysis goes. We're just being patient here. Well, not much to look at. Obviously eyeing some GJ shorts for price to drop down to this range here, but being a bit patient here, waiting for price to give us what makes sense of corrections. What lets this entire push up higher was obviously this. We still are yet to get a clean break that can guide us within some structure points here, right? Gold is dropping down to an interesting level. Let's see if price here does want to respect this, right? Maybe give us a solid break. Like if you were looking at this on yesterday's session on the M1, you can see out here we had our nice BOS, right? We have a lower high points, price dropping down, lower high points, lower low, price goes up higher, gives you a new form of demand, and from there you would have taken your long to capitalize on the highs right here, right? Pretty easy, don't complicate trading, it's not too hard. EURUSD, clean break from these levels. We might still try to drop down a little bit, or might try still might try to mitigate some stuff, right? So we do have to keep our eyes on this. But price is dropping down very correctively, right? So that's something that I don't like to see, but I'll take it, right? It's still now making new levels of supply, and looks like it is holding. So far so good. Looks like we're mitigated that right there. Again, drop down. Looks like again we have a new form level of supply right there. I'd like to see a very clean break here. Unfortunately, we haven't gotten that just quite yet, but we'll still keep our eyes here and see how price delivers. But TP, I'm going to keep it intact. Stop loss, I'm going to keep it intact. And obviously what led to its low point was this high point, so that can also be something. But I don't believe that we'll go back up that higher there, right? Just as soon as we rejected out of this. This is that intermediate range of, or the entire range of supply, that if this could be a corrective move to rebalance this, that's its low point, and then from there we might drop. So my solid placement is fine, but I do believe that we'll drop down to this level down here for sure. Very nice closure on the H1 for EU, right? Very nice closure there. We had price rebalancing this IPG. Looks like we completely now broke out of this. We do want to see price giving us a nice month of TP here. Hopefully that'll be the case. But it is showing some pretty good signs that price does want to drop from this daily level. Speed for EU, I'm going for 1.09728. Man, I'm in 35 lots deep in this cell right here. $35 deep. I'm gonna show you guys I'm not bullshit either. Hold on. Let me take a picture. Alright, we're back. Check it out, check it out. Check it out, check it out. Here we got a 10 lot right here. And we got a 5 lot and 20 lot. We're 35 lots deep in this cell right here. This is a live account, by the way. Live 200K account. Am I just buying, selling, in GJ? I honestly made a profit there, bro. Buying, selling, buying, selling. Certified diesel stress and every movement. Oh, it's not, bro. I'm chilling. I'm not even looking at that bitch. It's all about stop loss placement, you know what I mean? say it and so whoa. Look at that. It's a nice heartbreak right there. Oh, very nice little saw right there. Taking it right here. Boom. Imagine. You just put stops right there and you target these lows right here. 2 pip stops. It's already at 3-1, man. That's crazy. You see? But I played safe now. Before I would definitely do those type of trades right there. I'm just like, fuck it. Let's take that. You know what I mean? You know what I've been doing a lot? Also, I've been looking at line indicator a lot because this line indicator is pretty good, man. It kind of erases the noise, you know? If you can analyze this properly, you can just see, you know, what moves what. You know what I mean? Like what has led for price to go up higher and what has led for price to go lower, right? And then you kind of understand what price is created, right? So if we just kind of take a step back here, right? And we look at this entire picture range, you can clearly spot the levels that are significant levels where price has been shifting, right? Here's where we shifted. Here we didn't do anything, right? So where did we actually make this big shift here? It will be this, right? Where did we make a drop here? It will be this. What did price do? Grab liquidity and then made the drop back down to where we shifted up higher, right? Price goes up again. From here, what does price do, right? It comes down to that level where we obviously drop down. So this is probably most likely going to be a breaker and price goes up higher, right? Then what did we do here? We made supply because this led to the drop down. Once you go back to that, we drop down because we haven't tapped into that yet, right? You just continue, right? We haven't tapped into this yet. We are having a little bit of a retracement, but most likely we're going to want to drop down somewhere, right? Because we have now created the higher high in one leg and in that second leg that we haven't yet tapped into. So this is a very strong level for a complex pullback where price could definitely start dropping now, right? This could be a shift, even with the small term trend. You can see how things start making more sense into what price is doing, right? And again here, right? What led to the high point? This did. Here, right? Price drops down, you can capitalize from it. And again, it's just, if you just understand price goes from range to range or supply to demand, it's a little bit easier, you know? I feel like we all complicate it too much. And then here, right? So if you're looking at even this small time frame, well, what led to that high point here? You know, what led to this push up higher? It was obviously this to this, right? And then you can see how price is still making significant structure, right? It's still making significant structure when we're making this, right? So price then made a level of support or demand, that then led to a higher high point. So from that high point, we were unable to, and we actually broke it, right? We broke that, price dropped down here. And from there, we had a new retest, and then price is dropping down. So most likely, price is going to want to drop down where? Down to here, right? That's the next level. That makes the most sense. Use RSI. I don't use any indicators. No, the only indicator that I have in my what? Sorry. The only indicator that I use when I am trading is the sessions, right? So I'm looking at London session, Asian sessions. But honestly, I'm not even using that entirely too much anymore. So we could honestly delete that because I don't really care about that anymore. So I'm just gonna erase that and I have, what is this one? Any indicator because I don't really care for them anymore. I'm not using them. I'm just keeping stuff as simple as possible now, to be honest. You know, just looking at what makes sense. You know, where does price want to go here? Where are the strong levels? Where are the weak levels? You know, what's what? Price always going to want to drop down to that. Supplies are at the bottom. We'll see what price does from here. If we break out of this is going to be a level where I'm going to definitely keep my eyes on to try to capitalize on some longs here. All right, look at GJ here, right? So GJ is actually breaking out of that high point. So it's breaking out of that constellation that we're in. Let's see if we're still again pretty stuck at this supply, right? We're stuck at a very higher time frame supply. So this is just a complex pullback to me. I believe price might want to break this, but we did just have a nice grab of liquidity above. That's a nice wick that we rejected above from, and then we're still able trying to break out of this. So we're still, if we can get a shift here, that makes sense. I'll definitely be looking for some shorts. For now it looks still pretty bullish. I wouldn't want to be trading between this range. I would much rather see a break of this. So I would like to see price give me a clean break of this. These two bearish candles here that confirm, then a retest to this consolidation, and then from there potentially dropping price back down here. Or if you get a retest, drop down, FPG, and then continue price dropping down to that. This is a pretty good range that we can capitalize from. This is a range of 26 pips. And we could put stops, let's say. If we had something like this, we could put stops a little bit, like, let's say in the medium of the range. That would already be a nice little 3 to 1, And then let's say we want to play it safer. Let's say we put stops just above that box, right? That's our easy 2 to 1 to get. Most likely I wouldn't want to go back up to that 1 to get to solid break from that box that we're in. If we get that, of course. EU looks like it's going higher now. Again, this is a part of sometimes trading in session that can get, not trading session that can get, I guess, headachy, because you can see the way that we dropped down was very corrective. I was kind of expecting that to happen. Sometimes it would drop down correctly and just give you a huge drop, or sometimes it would want to grab the liquidity. So this is liquidity here. Let's see if price either grabs all of that, comes up here, rejects this, and then drops down, or if it's just making an inducement for some buyers to get on this long, and then from there potentially continue dropping, right? So if you're not in this EURUSD sell, you can be looking at getting it. Maybe move stops a little bit higher, but this is a setup that I have in, and I'll be keeping that setup until either stops or TP hit one of the two. I'll be happy with any of them, because it makes sense to me to take this out here. But alright guys, we are gonna stay trading live on the YouTube. If you guys want to join, make sure you guys join YouTube. I'm not. I'll see you guys in a bit. You guys know how it goes. Don't trade. Don't leverage. Stick trading. And peace. All right. Now it's all about being patient here. Very choppy PA. Looks like we're getting here for EU. Let's take a look at what price is presented to us in a bigger scope of things, right? This looks very choppy as of now, so we have to look at bigger time frames, the ones that make the most sense to us. And M30 makes more sense to me right now, right? We can see our price here. We had price. We clearly broke structure here. And on top of that, we do have a nice little FEG that we did rebalance here. Rebalance out of this FEG right there. Can mark that off. Right. And from that FEG, we have created level of supply. Right. So this is something that you do want to keep your eyes on. Forward price does want to. We can see how clearly here we made a higher low points, right? This OB, we were able to reject a little bit, then we go up higher. That's supply, that's this low point right here. From that low point, we rebalance this, and then we drop down lower. So most likely we do want to go up higher will be to rebalance this, or take another test of this supply zone, and then continue dropping down to original demand, which is down there. Right, so M30 is what makes the most sense for me right now, as far as small time frame goes. We just want to keep our eyes analyzing what price is doing here, right? Realistically, how can somebody make from a 20K funded account each month? 20K, bro, that's just very tough, because I'll tell you what, when you're trading from 20K accounts, and when you're trading from 20K accounts, you have to think about it. You don't really have a 20K account. You know what I'm saying? So, hear me out. You don't really have a 20K account. You only have a 2K account, right? When you have a 20K account, you can only lose 2K. So that cuts your margin from 20K to only 2K. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, looking at PA, like I said, we just gotta be patient here. We don't really have much to guide ourselves from. So again, talking about the 20K account, right? We only have, when you're looking at a 20K account, you only have a 2K. So your margin is really bad. Realistically speaking, making that 10%. It's pretty hard, because 10% a month is really hard. That's why I say you can go for the biggest amount possible. that'll be the idea, right? Get a 300K, and then going for 10K is more realistic on a 300K account, right? That's what, going for 10K would be like one, three, like 4%, right? It'll be like roughly 4% one for 10K on a 300K account, and that's realistic. You could definitely do that on a month-to-month basis, right? You don't have to go crazy and go for the 30K, right? If you do that, better, right? Good for you, but you don't have to do that. Obviously, if you don't have the capital to get the 300K, I know some of you guys don't, then I would just start slow. So go to 20K is just too low. The smallest account that you should try to aim for would at least be a 50K. 50K would be the smallest account that even myself was doing in my dead broke days. I wouldn't even go for 20K, 5Ks, 10Ks. I mean, they're honestly just a waste of time. Save a little bit of money. 50K is only $250. I'm sure all of you guys can save that. If you don't have $250, I mean, do what you can, bro. Do Uber Eats. That's what I would do before. I would do some Uber Eats, make some money. But when I was that broke, I would actually do. Remember, I would do Uber Eats, and I'll probably do like 4 rides, make $40. And with those $40, I would actually go to the casino and I'd play poker with those $40, and I would end up blowing it, But that was kind of my dead broke days. I would always have a way. I always had a way to make something out of nothing. That's always been me. Even when I was dead broke, like I said, it was just something that I would do, right? Whether it would be helping my dad with something with his company. I'll make like $50 a day. I could try to flip that, or I'll be working at a job, and then in that job I'll figure out how to cheat my way. Like there was a job where we're taking care of. Well, we don't have to get into that again. I could speak to myself for ages, but what was I saying? So 50K is what you literally need. That's kind of the goal. 50K, figure out what you got to do, and then from that 50K, get that payout. Try to go for at least 5%. Make 2.5K, and with that 2.5K, scale out. So save 1K. Be happy with those profits, and then with the other 1.5K, buy a 300K. And then like that, you always make sure you have that. You have that profit. You know what I'm saying, or you have that stability. What else? So yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're making excuses for not getting a 50K, you just don't want it bad enough, because it's only $250. If I could be that broke right now, and I would find a way to make $250. That's just been me. It doesn't matter how broke I was. I always figured out a way how to get it done. If you want it, you go and get it. That's just the way it is. Oh my god, look at gold. So gold, complete break out of that level that we had our eyes on. That's going to be interesting. And we'll see then what price does here, right? So we did a break out of that. We're at an interesting point with gold though, because we're still realistically speaking at this range that price dropped down from, right? So if we look at kind of the daily and H2, right? This is kind of the first tap of where we realistically drop down from, right? So to me, we are at the premium right here. I wouldn't really want to be looking for a price to go up higher. I really want to be looking for a price to give me a shift. So yes, this could be either a sweep of liquidity, but realistically speaking, I would prefer price. Like let's say price here gives me 2 weeks and then it goes up a little bit higher. Maybe I'll be looking for that longs, but realistically, I want to be looking for that short. I would like to see price actually drop down again. Right from there, maybe then give me a little bit of a G, drop down again, and then break this to go down lower here. And from there, try to capitalize on some longs. But if it gives us opportunity to try long it, then yes, I'll long it back up to that. It's just about being patient here. I want to see what price does. But let me tell you guys about a job that I had right now. Speaking about that, because we're talking about the type of hustles that I would do before, which are actually very funny. Right? There was this job that I probably had it like 2019 it was, right? 2019 I had this job, and The company was called the Jumpin' Jamboree, and then what you do in that job is you would basically take care of kids, right? You would take care of kids, and there would be jumping houses or bouncing houses, right? And I would literally just stand in that house for. You would stand in that house, right? You wouldn't work every day, but what we tell for that job is that you'll work on weekends, right? Now I was probably getting paid like what, $200, $400 every 2 weeks, making I believe it was like $8 an hour. Probably the lowest that you could have gotten back then, but the job was, it was easy. It was an easy job. It was just kind of a boring job, and your feet hurt a lot, because like I said, it's like bounce houses. So they have like a room of bounce houses, probably like five or a little bit more, I remember. But in the back of those bounce houses, there was an arcade room, right? And this arcade room, it had this thing that was called the Keymaster, right? And what this Keymaster was, or what it is, I mean, if you guys probably go to a mall, you can see it. This Keymaster, what it is that it has like different types of rows where it has gifts, right? Like basically the name of the game is that you have to insert the key into the hole, right? So the Keymaster, if you guys Google it, it has, let's see if I Google it, if it will actually appear, so I can show you guys what I'm talking about. Keymaster. So this is the Keymaster right here, right? This is the Keymaster right here, right? So the Keymaster, right? This is what we had at my job, right? Literally, as you guys can see it right here, right? This is what we had at my job. So this right here, it basically has a key, right? And for this key, you have to insert it inside these holes, and then in these holes, right? Here we had, and for the job, it had $50, right? Here it had $50 or two $50 bills that would be hanging there. Well, actually, yeah, no, two $50 bills that would be hanging there, right? And then up here, it would have an $150 bill. And then up here, I remember it had $300, right? So as soon as I got to a job, I started asking people, like, how is there any way that you understand on how you can take the money out of these things, right? Because obviously you're not going to break in, and obviously you're kind of stealing money from the company. So what I would do is, and how you break this game is that the key, it kind of shifts to the side. So when you know that it's hitting, right, it has to hit, it shifts to the side, and it shows you that it's now going to go in, right? So let's say for this first row to hit, it has to have, let's say, 10x. So $50, it would have to make $40 for this 50 row to hit. But keep in mind, there's a lot of people going into that job, or to that arcade and to that place on an everyday basis. So I learned how to take off money from this Keymaster, right? Whenever the key was kind of tilted to the side, I knew that this is when it was going to pay out, whether it was 50, whether it was 150, or whether it was 300. So I would be working this job that I was making $8 an hour, but almost every single week I would come out with either an extra 50, an extra 150, or an extra 300, right? And I remember I had in my notepad already set up to what weeks it paid out. So I understood, in 2 weeks, this will probably be set. In 3 weeks, this will be set. The $300 ones took like a month. This one took like 2 weeks. This one was every week that it would pay out, right? So again, it was comedy for me to tell you guys that, because it was a hustle, right? And I remember when that money would come in, I would use that money, but I would use it for anything else rather than just trying to go to the casino and play poker, because that was my hustle before, right? I would go to the casino, play poker. Remember, I had a bankroll. I would make like a rack, 2 racks. That was like huge money for me back then. With that money, I would like take my girl out. We would like buy food or buy clothes. It
was actually like pretty like convenient.
Yeah, it was funny times. Right, we'll buy clothes.
And everything else, you would use both of our paychecks to go to the casino.
Yeah. No, so again, if you want it, man, you gotta go get it, bro. It's just the way it is. Always been a hustler, man.
You always found a way.
Yeah, I always did. Alright, so gold here, looking interesting. One above, GBP USD. Looks like we had that clean sweep of liquidity up there. Right, let's see if we can actually get a break out of this consolidation here. And USD still looking alright. Haven't really broken out of that sweep above. I've been beefing with Keymaster. Bro, I try every Keymaster there is. Like, in the malls that I have, I've tried them. But I feel like the payouts are way too big, so it's like very rare, because they have like PS5s there, Nintendos and shit, So I'm guessing the payouts that for you to get that's probably a lot of money, for the people that actually make money. Or it's just remember I would be in this job probably like what, 3-4 times a week. So I would already know, what's gonna hit when, you know? And it was funny stuff. Stuff that I would do.
Remember, you would go and you would be counting the people that would use the machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to go back just to see you still got it.
Probably took it off.
No, they didn't.
They didn't? How do you know?
Oh?
How do you know?
Because we went with Nathan not long ago.
Oh. What, the money was still there?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Like the same setup.
It's fine. Well, shows this week performance. I don't really have the stats. I don't think I have the stats. Maybe I could be doing that, right? But I believe I can go over the trades, right? I think we've had a pretty profitable week. I could show you some of the trades. Like, for example, the trade that we took yesterday was pretty good. We had some nice little gold shorts. Let me see if I can find it actually, because I forgot where it was. I don't remember if it was this here. No, I must have been a little bit earlier than that. I don't remember. You might have to go back on the YouTube video to check them out, right? Because I'd go back on tomorrow's stream, on the stream before that. I know we've been profitable the entire week taking these trades. And then gold. What did we take? Gold. Was it gold? Oh no, gold was what we sold yesterday. So let me analyze here. What was the sell, guys? I really forgot the sell that we took here at gold. Maybe this was one of the sells down here. This was one of the sells that I took a couple of days ago. I think that was like Monday or something. I took the buy here today. So the buy's here. We can go over the buys that I took today. It was this gold setup here, right? And what I saw was, if you're looking at this H1 frame here, right? I saw his price drop down here. And if you look a little bit to the left, this is going to be a range where price before was selling from, right? So let's just tweak this. Let's put it like this. We take a look to the left. This was a price, this is a level where price obviously had a nice rejection from, and then we dropped down from, right? So yes, you could, I guess, count this as resistance, basic support resistance levels, but sometimes, like I said, they play out. So it's just understanding what the market is doing at a specific time. So here we had a nice level. And then when we looked at the H1 point here, you can see how even there we have a bulk of candles. So that becomes a nice and easy OB to spot. And from the top of that, all I was looking for was price to come back up to its highs. I had my TP. And this was a $15K trade that I made. And you guys can look at my Instagram reel, on my Instagram story, so you can see the trade. It's pretty easy. Just right here, stops below, and then targeting the highs right there. Nice little 3-to-1. And that literally just hit on the news. I was sleeping when this happened, right? Because I was in through over here. I was more like this, 2-to-1 that I had, and then I just smacked those highs. $20K so far, my aiming for higher. That's all I can manage while at uni. What about you? $20K for what? You have $20K saved up? Man, I had $20K back then. Well, it'd be good if I just watch ICT's YouTube videos, for sure. For sure. I mean, I would think the best way to learn ICT will be the 2022 model. It's for me to date is still the best way to trade. Easy subject, and you could see the setup happening probably every single day when it comes to New York Open. But if you can't trade New York, and if you're a little bit of what happened to me is that sometimes these setups for ICTs, when you're looking for these displacements, they happen too quick, and sometimes you miss the setup, so it can get really frustrating. So you have to just kind of play around how you understand what ICT trades and what model you want to trade. Because there was a while where I was only strictly trading the 2022 model in New York, and yes, it was okay, but it was also very stressful to trade it because sometimes, like I said, it leaves you or you miss a displacement. You have to be up by that time every single day, So the setup that I've been building around has been more of a hands-off setup where, alright, guys, I can wake up in the morning, look at the markets, take a trade, have a little bit of a water stop, and then just be patient with price, and then just let price do its thing, still understanding the same terminology of SMC, but just being more patient with price and then do its thing, And training more a little bit of supply and demand, understanding, that price does move from supply and demand. What moves the price has to go up higher to supply to be able to go back down to demand. The prices go down to demand to be able to go to supply. You know what I mean? There's always going to be tops and bottoms, whether you call it support and resistance, floor, or roofs, right? Whatever you want to call it, it exists. It's just understanding, you can trade basic levels like support and resistance if you understand where the liquidity is placed, right? So if you understand that there's going to be a support that might hold today, but you understand that liquidity is above that, then you can definitely capitalize on that support, right? I have 12K bank. I saving to open 20K accounts. 20K live accounts, that's another thing. If you're trying to open live accounts and that's going to be like your entire savings, I'll definitely stick away from that. I'd rather you open 300K account that costs 1.2K, and then just try to learn from that. It's a lot of capital, and you still have a lot of savings in your bank rather than having 20K of your own capital and then just blowing that. It's very tough in the mindset. Yeah, for sure. Try to have liquid cash for sure. Can you go into detail on supply and demand wick zones? Yeah. So let's see. Supply and demand wick zones pretty easy to spot. Let's take a look at just a GJ chart, a clean GJ chart, and let's go to Oanda here. Right. So if we look at GJ, we always want to start from the daily, right? And then if we start from daily, or let's say to 12 hour here. 12 hours is a little bit better. You just want to ask yourselves, where is that price clearly went up higher, that then price went lower, right? So if we're looking a little bit below here, right? I'm looking at this price action here, and we look a little bit of this range, right? Well, what led price to go up higher and what led price to go lower here? So if we look at price here, it's 1 to 2 wicks. So once we make that second wick, that's when we understand that we have created a level of demand, right? So here you can see our price led to that high point, right? And then from that high point, we led to a drop down. So this is a valid level of supply, right? So, keep in mind this is 12 hour and daily. So these levels that you're capitalizing from, even if you're not catching that entire move and you're able to understand, these are going to be levels that will most likely give you a shift. These moves are significantly large. And we're talking about 250 pips here. We're talking about 169 pips here, right? So these moves, yes, you're catching short moves, but again, we're scalpers / day traders, right? You're not really swinging this entire range. Of course, if you're able to understand there's liquidity below and you can somehow, some way see 1-2 wicks, price drop down, and then from here, price drops all the way down and grab this liquidity, and you're able to hold all of that, you have made yourself 488 pips, and that's on you. But the point is, this is more of just understanding. I'm confused. Let clarify, guys, on this because I haven't traded DJ in a while. If this is like gold, this is actually going to be 25 pips, or is this actually 253 pips, right? I'm a little bit confused right now. So clarify that on me real quick, guys, because I haven't traded DJ in a while. I wanted to start trading it again, but I forget how the pips work. So is this move up here actually 11 pips, or is this actually 111 pips, right? Which one is it? I think my forex funds increased your accounts by 30% when you're 10 for 4 months. Yes. If you guys can please clarify that for me with GJ, I'll be very appreciative. Why are you sleeping at? While you're about to.
Yeah.
Was it the bias for what? What pair? $11, 111 pips. All right, good. So yeah, so then we're right. So you see, even just capitalizing that short move, that's crazy, right? So here you can see how with this range we had a nice level of supply. Price dropped down from here. Right? We can just look at this. Here's a level of demand. Here's a level of supply. And then this short little move right here, like let's say we were able to capitalize on this move right here, we would have made some pips, right? Let's look at this from an M5 perspective and see if some way we could have capitalized from this, right? Just looking at this, even from a short angle, you can see how obviously this move led to that drop down, right? So what led to this drop down and what is up here? Just understand this from SMC angle. Here is that last leg. Oh shit. My mouse died, I think. Fuck. I'm gonna check my mouse, guys. I don't have my mouse charged. You wanna have that charger for the mouse?
Let me see cómo se ve.
It's like small. Let
me see the thing.
I'm gonna have it somewhere. But again, just looking at price here, you can see our price from here. We clearly broke out of structure. So here's that first break. Then from there, lower high points, lower low. And then again, just understanding SMC, you have that nice and easy FVG to spots. And you could take price right here. Shorts, 50%. Stops above. And then target the lows right there. A nice little 2 to 1, right? Nice and easy. It's a small one. What? It's not that one, no.
Yeah.
Is there?
She said maybe 100, doesn't it?
What?
She said maybe 100.
Oh, I don't know. Alright, GJ, looking interesting here. Looks like it is breaking down.
Do you
below.
have somewhere to connect it or not?
This, no? Just see which one is not what. You want to?
What? They're all white.
Yeah, but one of them is, they go for different mouses, you know what I mean? I'll just take this one off. Put this one off. One of the two. Take that one off. Yeah. Here. You can throw that shit away.
Serious?
Yeah. Alright, gold dropping here to that range right there that we see. USD is back at that level. Let's see if we're actually just getting booked out here. Price is going to drop down to our stop loss. I don't know. Let's just be patient here, right? It is at 12:48 time, so that's another thing. We are at that time zone where price does get a little bit complicated to trade. Now this is where we have that fake out Judah swing. That 2:30 to 3 a.m. time is always going to be that per median fake out range, where you might just want to be patient on it. Problem is you can't decide what's actually in the trade. It's whatever position you want, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. Sessions are not significant, to be honest. You want to buy low and you want to sell high, right? That's the name of the game. Nice sweep of liquid right there, to be honest. Let's hope that we can get a nice break right here. Alright, so we tweaked, we rejected again that supply zone that we have marked off. You can see how that was at M30 that we covered earlier. So that most likely price might want to come back and rebalance that level of anything. Other people are going to have stops to break even. Most likely that's what might get hit, and then from there we might start looking at price drop down lower here. Not, then we're in the wrong side. Let's see if from here either we had a sweep or price wants to make actual new form of supply. And from there we can see what price is actually hinting towards us for a price to do. If we actually develop a new form of demand here, this could be something to keep our eyes forward for them price trying to go higher, right? We just need a little bit of a 1-2 wicks over here to happen. Price giving us a little bit of a shift on the M1. EU, yeah, for sure. I mean, we had that supply zone that we discussed a little bit earlier ago. Let's move this to the side here, so it doesn't bother PA. There goes GJ. I really want to short GJ today. Let's see if we can get that set up, bro. I really do want to short GJ, to be honest. Come on, GJ, you know you want to. Hey man, I'm sorry I'm late for the stream. Can you please explain that reason of POI and EU? Thanks. Yeah, so we're looking at this from the 12H or daily. You see there's obviously a very clear level of supply led to that drop down. We're looking at this now from each one leg. We already had a sweep of liquidity right here, right? This entire range, people were looking for the shorts. So people that had some shorts here, they got swept. Price again, give us yet another sweep here. So 1, 2, 3, 4 sweeps of liquidity. We have price here at this M30 range that most likely this low point is what led to that high point. Then if we look at this from an M15 angle, you can see how price here had a new hard low point right there that led to that high point right there. From here then we made an OB, lower high point, lower low, we broke it. Then we made an FEG that we rebalanced from this point that led to this lower low. So here's that entry, and then we're shorting price down to that level. Right, pretty simple stuff. Now, as far as my entry goes, it was way back up there, and I went over that as well. You can see our price here. We had a price, we rebalanced the level, confirmed level of supply. You can also count this as a breaker. A price then, we had higher low points, higher high. From there then, we had this corrective range right there, where then price here kind of gives you that pattern. Once that actually happened and we had this bearish, I took that sell, but you could have waited price drop down, goes back up higher, gives you an FEG, and that could be your entry. Just place your stops, obviously way above that, because you can see how you can affect that. I had a shoulder, I guess you could call that. Sometimes retail patterns work. I see it more as an exhaustion type of thing, Ooh, look at this bad boy right here with GJ. GJ setting up for us, ladies and gentlemen. GJ. Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Alright. Alright. Let's see here. Can we get some type of rejections from this? No, new form FVG. Ooh, look at that fucking mouth for GJ. Oh my god, look at that mouth for EU2. TP getting smacked, ladies and gents. TP getting smacked. I'm just different, guys. I'm just different. So GJ, that's a very nice break, but not enough context for me to be able to go for that short. We don't even have a clean form of lower high points, right? We haven't really made any type of, I would say, rejections back to this level. So yeah, it's nice, but we can't really capitalize on that just yet. I got you guys, man. You guys know how it goes. You guys know we're the only real ones in this industry, right? We're the ones that actually do this bitch. That's a really horrendous candle right there. Oh my god. I really dislike that. I dislike that a lot. I like this though. I definitely like this M5 right there that we're making. That's nice. Little M5 FPG right on top of that level that we just broke out of. That's very nice. 2 bear candles. $3 to go for that though. That sucks. M3. We do have the M3 FPG. Clearly solid break of structure. Man, E, that's cold, man. We're about to hit TP2. That's annoying. That's very annoying, mate. 2 minutes to go here. I'm4, I'm3. We do have that level. I just don't know if I want to capitalize from that level here in I'm3, to be honest. I don't really like it. But you know what? Let's confuse it out there. Shorts here. Let's do the 2-to-1, risking 11 pips. I don't think we're gonna get that entry that we wanted. I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see if we can though. Still hope here. Now, if we make the M5 FPG, we could definitely try to capitalize on that right there. One, two break FVG right there. A break of consolidation. Easy up. Shouldn't really go back up higher there. Maybe we get a small rejections, but I feel like from there we'll drop down and grab this liquidity below here. Really wish that price here for you just gives me that nice solid amount that I'm looking for. There you go. Come on, drop down TP, man. Oh my god, look at GJ. Oh, and this one gives the entry. Look at that 3M open right there. One minute to go there. That could be something. I honestly don't know if I want to trade with FPG. I might just want to wait price, or we should, realistically speaking, be waiting for price to then come back up to this range here, retest this, right? Make it supply, drop down, and then take that continuation there. But you know what? We're gonna respect the FEG here, and we're gonna make sure that it holds this time. Maybe it might not hold, but let's see if it does want to hold here, and then take that GJ back down to that range there. EU just playing games with us right now at this point. Clearly didn't want to drop down here. Still did have a solid break out of this level though. You know, pretty nice bearish engulfing here. But this next candle is just that really sucks, you know. But again, I'm still gonna continue with the trade. We do have a now new form level of supply that they can potentially go back up towards, which is up there. And if it does, that's okay. But let's be patient here. I still believe that price might want to drop down to take this level down here. And this is what led to that high point. That's what should be getting hit as we speak. Alright, FEG form for GJ. That is a setup that you guys could be eyeing right there. If it does want to hit, wait for that empty space to fill. 10 pip stops, looking at 23 pips for TP. FEG fill for GJ right there. 6 points. We are triggered into GJ. Looks like ERSD. Looks like it's going back up to take that M30. Unfortunately, it is what it is. We just gotta be patient here, Looking at GJ here, we are back up at that level here. There's a part of where I should have been more patient and waited for price to actually confirm to me this supply zone. But it looks like we're rejecting a little bit. Now let's see, keep our eyes here and see if this isn't just a sweep of liquidity. Drop down here. It is looking more like a sweep when I'm looking at it, but let's hope that it's not. Let's hope that we can actually give us a nice 2 wicks there, and then price can drop down from that range. So let's just be patient here. Nice retest of that level. Like to see a little bit of a M1 support be formed before we can start dropping here, right? That'll be more ideally. But this still makes sense, price might just want to continue dropping from here. Or might not. One of the two. Still haven't confirmed out of this resistance point, you could call that. This is where the bulk of the candles are placed at, right? Oh man, looks like EU didn't want to play with us today. Straight drop down. Looks like it's now really just going for that stop loss. GJ as well. Looking like on one of those days where we just are losing here. That's gonna happen sometimes. That's the name of the game, guys. That's just the name of the game. You know how it goes. Sometimes market's not gonna want to play out with you, and nothing you can do. This honestly, GJ was a bit more my fault because here I should have waited for price to clearly show me some rejections. Clearly show me some rejections here. Even this FEG, sometimes the SMC doesn't really work. You gotta wait for that context here. So I should have been more patient with GJ there. I can drop still, but should have waited for more in this range. That made more sense, right? EU still hasn't hit stop, still respecting out of that M30. That's also interesting here. Let's see there what price action wants to do here, right? Are we just grabbing liquidity, or are we actually just gonna start dropping here? I mean, going higher. Here is the up. Yes, I see it. Trust me, I see it. I'm in it. Your USD is very up. Very up. We were dropping down so nicely, right? That sucks that we dropped down like this. Maybe I should have kept my eyes more on smaller time frames, once we rejected that. Should have just called it. But I'll take that small loss. If it does hit sub loss, it is what it is. It happens, right? It does happen, man. Just gotta keep it going. There goes EU. Yeah, that's crazy. I still haven't gotten stopped out of GJ. GJ hasn't stopped me out. EU still haven't gotten stopped out. We still have some hope here, right? As far as the SMC perspective goes, we still have a little bit of a FEG here that we could be rebalancing. So that's another thing for EU as well, right? We still have that. Oh, I just got stopped out of GJ though. I did just got stopped out of GJ. That's fine. I should have waited for GJ, to be honest. This looks looks like we sweep liquidity. Gonna have a bigger sweep above, to be honest. That was my own fault for not waiting for a little bit of context, right? Lower hypermeter form here. That was more my fault than anything. Still alive with EU, right? We're still alive. You never know, man. It's all about stop loss placement. That's what it is, I make sure that when I'm wrong, I'm absolutely wrong. That's the thing. So for GJ, I don't know if I'm wrong yet, but it was a pretty good, decent sized stop. For EU, we had some nice levels that where price was rejecting from. So if I'm wrong, I'll definitely be wrong. You know what I mean? This is definitely looking like I'm wrong with that sweep. I just got stopped out of EU. Just got stopped out of that. Alright guys, so that's 2 losing trades for the day, and you guys know the rules, how it goes. Once we take 2 losses, we're pretty much done. We don't trade anymore once you take 2 losses. So I'll be done for today. That was a eventful trade, EU. We did drop down nice amount. We could have definitely hit TP. But that's just the way it goes, guys. Sometimes we're not going to play out. Sometimes it's going to just try to grab us, sweep us. And, you gotta keep it going. But alright, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys know how it goes. Don't overtrade. What time is it tomorrow? Tomorrow, are we gonna be live? Tomorrow we'll be live. Tomorrow we'll be live again. So don't trade, don't whatever.